Hey Shane, my name is Jake Goss. I'm going to be breaking down your website strategy. Dr. Josh Castillo wanted me to take a look at your website. I've been practicing SEO and search engine, organic, Google stuff for 12 years. I can go through all of that if you want to really do some due diligence. But what I want to do is break down your website strategy, show you 100 best practices, and by the end of this video, you're going to be able to understand what is stopping you from getting a lot of traffic value. Because right now you're spending money on ads, right? And there seems to be, there seems to be very basic things that you don't seem to be showing up for. And I like to show you what you're doing. So for context, people that are trying to find acupuncture in Minneapolis, Minnesota, they want to find you because they're trying to find an acupuncturist within the Twin Cities, right? And there's different keywords, right? A person, right? A patient, a new patient would potentially put this in, and if they wanted to, they could click on your ad, right? Which would charge you probably just under $1, right? Or they could click on this, which is I call this is the local map pack, the snack pack, right? The 3 pack. They could click on this and then they would find a local business, right? You don't seem to be in here. Or they can click on the organic links. If you're looking up acupuncture, right, and it's Yelp and expertise, and then these guys are getting basically all the, most of the business. People up here know not to that Yelp's not an acupuncturist. They know that they could find a list of them. They might flow here, they might go here, but if they want to find just a business, they're probably going to stick with this. People trust Google to show them businesses that are trustworthy, that are able to afford to do their marketing right, that are healthy enough to do marketing, and not just like, hey, we're a brand new company, we don't show up anywhere, right? How can you get people to click through here, click schedule a visit, and to get them sitting down in the chair for you to do your work, for you to, kind of help them with their digestion, for you to help them with, with sleep and, whatever problems that they have that can be treated with acupuncture. Now, I'm a patient myself. I stopped in to with an acupuncturist down in Bloomington yesterday over at the Barty Baki, Wellness Center right over in Francev. And I was talking with the acupuncturist there, and we were just going back and forth. And there's some ideas there that I could bring off to the side, and some of the things that she's doing to get a few clients because she brought me in, right? And I didn't plan to do acupuncture yesterday. So anyway, there's a lot of things that you may or may not be doing, but in the long haul, I kind of specialize with folks within the alternative medicine space. So, and I can show you case studies with that too, right? Anyway, long story short, what I want to do is take this roadmap, and it's 100 best practices for me, kind of like to break down what you're doing, right? And I'm just kind of curious here. If I look up chiropractor SEO, yeah. So I have something here, and these companies aren't within, the Twin Cities, and these are just like, just this is a chiropractic company, and this is a chiropractic company, and this is someone over in Minneapolis, which is interesting, where they got just a testimonial. But if you want to learn like a more in depth sort of way to do this yourself, you can read this blog post at any time. It works for folks that do alternative medicine, all the same. Anyway, let me just dive into this. One of the first things I do is check for the site redirects to the preferred version. So what that means is sometimes websites, they have a website, multiple versions of their website that cause problems. So if I make a non-secure version and then add the www or not, I can get to different versions of the website. And they should go to the ideal version of the website. So that's fine. It's a green flag. You'd be surprised how many other competitors aren't doing that. Fave icon. You have the little icon up here. So that's fine. That's a green flag. Robots, I checked that earlier. It's this thing right here. Robots is the set of instructions that that search consoles use, that Google uses, and every other search, like Bing and anything else, they use that as instructions. You say, hey, anyone, any anything that can crawl through the site, you can do it. Just don't check this. Don't check the admin pages. So I'm like, okay, fine. So you do have something there, but you don't have the literal list of pages that you want them to take a look at. You don't have that in there. You also don't have a list of all the videos you have on the site. I don't know if you have a ton, but you don't have a list here of all the images that you have on the site because there's Google images. Google wants to be able to know what's on your site. So let me check if you have a sitemap here. And depending on how the site's set up, yeah, maybe there's like default stuff. Okay, so you do have an XML sitemap, so that's fine. So that's what it kind of looks like. Right, you have a category sitemap, which is not best practice for a small brand here. Testimonial sitemap that. So there's some. You have a sitemap for sitemaps. Oh, for blog posts. Looks like okay. Well, it seems like you have some exposure there, but I don't know if you have a sitemap for videos. Don't know if you have one for images, and I'm just gonna say I can't be able to say one way or the other. I get access to the site and then I can see HTML sitemap in the footer. So that's for Google to understand. And if I'm a human, right, I want to be able to access and see all the pages on the site. So if I scroll down, there's no footer. Defined by ACU Perfect Websites 2019 webmail login. Oh, okay. So is that what you have on the? Oh, let me check out another page. Maybe they're doing the footer right. Okay. Yeah, so there's red flags here. There's going to be a lot of red flags I'm going to have to put up. So there's no sitemap for the footer. And so that's like saying, hey, sitemap, here's a list of all the pages on the website. You have the right year, which is good. I think you have an About Us page just for yourself, which is fine. You have a contact form. Okay, so there's some issues with that. If I click About Us, it doesn't go to a thing. But if I click on Contact, it goes to a thing, which is a design issue. Design issue on menu name. It's an issue because if you're confusing someone, they want to leave. If I'm confusing you about what I do, you're probably going to not want to watch the video, which is why I take a lot of time to explain what it is that I'm looking at. If I take a look at this, it's not going to a page, but it's part of the menu. So if I go here, do I have to go click contact form or do I have to click contact? Let's say someone clicks this first, and then you're like, oh, if I click on stuff in the menu, it works. Then you click on about us, and they're like, oh, the website's broken. Right? I kind of like mashed my mouse here. So there's stuff there. FAQ page, I don't see that Q&A. Oh, Q&A. Okay. Looks like you do have something. I'm going to assume that's a FAQ page. Terms of service page. And that's the thing I was talking about. Like it's like the legal stuff. Terms of use. Oh, I didn't even see that. Okay, so you do have something that goes to something off the site. By accessing this website, you mean Acu Perfect Websites? Okay, so that's not on the site. Yeah, some extra stuff here that you don't need. Yeah, so this is for this site. So website terms and condition of use is for the wrong site, which is not ideal. I don't know why they would link to their own site from that. That's not good practice, and that's also not a link. So that's an issue. Free privacy policy page. If you collect info, you kind of have to say something. Like if you say, hey, if your host definitely tracks their IP. Like that's just a thing. If they fill in the form, do you keep their contact info anywhere? If yes, then you have to say that. Google will penalize you, and which Google does penalize you. Let's say we look at blog posts. So that's a problem. Let's look at your blog. Do you have a blog? I don't know if you have a blog. It said you had a blog in the sitemap. that you had a blog, but I can't find a blog. Insurance? Okay. Just gonna say. So I know you guys have a blog post, but I don't see it up here, and I have to like manually go to the page. Sitemap. I think this is that. What's the site posts blog? Oh, it's just blog. Okay, so you have a blog without any posts. Just delete the page or do something about it. If a page, if you give specific instructions, this is probably why you're not getting results. This page shows up in Google, right? You see it right here. So if someone you're telling Google right now, hey, make sure this page shows up. So if someone ever comes across this page, they're going to find something that obviously doesn't work, that there's nothing there, which is weighing you down. You have more issues than these 100 best practices. Free lead magnet in posts. So if you had blog posts, for insurance, right? Let's say it's insurance. Actually, no, let's do something else. How does acupuncture work? It's a big wall of text, but you would have something here that says, "Hey, download our guide to doing acupuncture." Right? Here's the top 10 tips on hiring an acupuncturist. Right? They can download that, you get their email, and then you can follow up with them saying, hey, this is Sarah from the front desk. Let me know when you can come in and schedule an appointment with Shane. Right? You don't see that. So it's not really a blog post, but you don't really have those sorts of lead magnets throughout the site. Not everyone wants to schedule a visit, but if you give them something like, hey, if you download this, if you give me your email, I'll give you a 10% off voucher, right? I'll take 50% off your first visit or something. I don't know. Right? Or your first visit can be twice as long because you're just going to be hanging out. I don't know. Insecure content. The whole website's secure because it has that lock symbol, which is good. Right? So this is the first part, and I think this video is taking a lot longer than I think I'd care to admit, but site structure. What is acupuncture? It should be on something that's like, oh, here's acupuncture. Maybe the keyword you want to show up for is Minneapolis acupuncture, and all your blog posts go underneath that. So that way you get context, you build context that you do acupuncture within Minneapolis, right? I think it can show up there. Because consumers are using Google, right? You want to make sure that the website is done right. Right, I don't really see that there. Service pages. I don't really see all the different sorts of services that you do within acupuncture. I'm sure there's different reasons why people use acupuncture. Right, I don't see that here. So the website's kind of bare. It doesn't really, besides it saying that Minneapolis, right? This is being repeated on every page, which is okay. But if I'm coming in from Burnsville, or if I'm coming in from Eden Prairie, if I'm coming in from the north, how do I get to you? And you can have a page that says, hey, we do St. Paul acupuncture. And they can find your address and then drive to your Minneapolis location. Right? Oh, you got to take 94, you do this, and you have enough text. I wrote up something up here because your website as a whole, it just does not have enough text and enough content. So there's a lot of work here to get some results here. So there's some problems with that. Your local business, you want that. I don't really see enough of those pages built out. You have uncategorized pages or posts. You have duplicate content because this is on every single page. This thing on the right-hand side, which is basically saying you're copy and pasting and plagiarizing from your own content, which is not so good. I don't have access to the site. I can't really do this. Or the redirect thank yous in place. I don't know. Are you tracking your results? Let me see. Do you have an autoresponder set up? I don't know. Yeah, no, there's no redirect thank you. So what that means, you could track how many people fill out this form. When the people start visiting the site, they're going to fill out this form. You can track how many times they actually do this successfully, right? And then you can say, oh, 100 people visited the site and 5 people fill out the contact form, right? You could also change this to be a schedule, to be like a calendar. And then for every successful calendar confirmation, you get like a success. It's like, hey, I got a success, and it goes into a database, and the database tracks all that stuff. Doesn't seem like there's focus on that. Anyway, I'm going to skip through all this because we know that there's problems here. That's what I mean by like you have pages that you want that are showing up in Google that you don't want to show up. You don't want to show up for all the pages. Showing up for all the pages means you don't value any specific page. Do you want people to find this page? Do you want people to find your page, this page? You want to remove some pages that don't provide value. If there's no text, just get rid of it. It's hurting you, right? And so there's a lot of problems there. Google Search Console, I don't know. I don't have access. So I'm just going to say, I don't have access. Gotta contact you. Social media, if you have Facebook, which we all do, you can collect demographic information. So maybe you can see something which I see really useful. People visit the website. Maybe they literally do need to work with you. They visit the website, and you can collect their demographic information, which you would want to say in the privacy policy, but you collect that information, and then you can advertise to them. You can send them an ad that says, hey, thanks for visiting the website, right? Maybe they didn't sign up yet. Maybe they didn't hit that thank you page for booking it. So you want to make sure they hit that thank you page. So you automatically send you send an ad to them directly to that one person through Facebook because it's automated, saying, hey, check out, if you book an appointment today, we'll do this for you, whatever. You can collect information and be able to get clicks for about close to like 10% of what you're paying Google for a new click because you're getting the same person back to see a landing page or an offer. Facebook, Pinterest, and Twitter can be set up for you to get more social signals. I don't see social media throughout the site, right? Even if you have like a LinkedIn or something, like anything really. Schema, this is like experimental code. I can like edit this sort of stuff to literally spoon feed Google exactly what your page is about. Yes, my name is Shane. I have this phone number, and I do these sorts of services in Minneapolis. And then Google knows exactly what that is. Plugins. Let me see. Is this WordPress? So this tool lets me know what your website is made. Yeah, it's with WordPress. So I would need to get access to the site, but because it's on WordPress, I can install plugins to make basically to solve like all these problems. I'm just gonna. Yeah, it doesn't have a schema. So I'm just gonna say if there wasn't any problems here, you probably don't have any problems. You probably don't have any errors, but these probably weren't set up in the first place. Plugins, a lot of these are just needing to be set up. Physical. Oh, okay. So this is local. I'm trying to move my mouse here. So I'm not trying to click on that ad, but let me look up the name of the business. So Google, okay, it seems like you don't have that set up, which is a massive red flag. Like that's probably one of the biggest red flags. So if I look up the name of the business, Right, I went to the domain. Okay, so there you go. Precision acupuncture. Right, not a super huge red flag, but because I looked up the domain instead of the brand name. But precision acupuncture, this is the Google My Business page. So if I'm looking up stuff, this is what shows up in that local snack pack. And people tend to navigate and gravitate towards that if they're within the Twin Cities. Right? They do check these out. Right? If there were other companies trying to vie for the same keyword and they had their own local brand, you'd compete. But right now, if people are looking at precision, they'll find you because you're the business that shows up. You have a really good presence, which is something that makes it easy for me to kind of get you more of those because it just works. Plus, it probably is a good signal that you'd be a good client because you have a good client base that you're established. Yeah, so there's problems that I can see already. Just you could set some things up. If I go to appointments, is it going to go to the contact page? Yes. Okay. You could have people fill out this form, or they could fill up a calendar form, and there's free apps for that, like Calendly. Those are free. But I don't see a description. I also don't see posts. I don't see regular sort of like promotions that you can post on here. If I click on photos, will I see pictures of you or just pictures of the office? Oh, there you go. You can have, so you want to like kind of triple the amount of pictures you want on this. 360s. Oh, cool. Good stuff. I always love seeing these. These are really cool. So there's some issues there. Just making sure that holiday hours are kind of set up too, but just making sure you're continually posting content. Some people get 100% of their business from Google from this one source, and they're booked like many times, like weeks, just because they focus on this. And the way to really promote this outside of this is to do business citations, and that's kind of like talking with the media and saying, "Hey, we're at this address. We're called Precision Acupuncture, and we have this phone number. Here's our website." Right? We call that a business citation. And more of those is good. You want to have more than any other acupuncturist in Minneapolis, right? And there's a finite number which you can just overcome, right? Like if you had a web page on Yelp or a web page on Facebook or a page on BBB, that is a business citation. Your website also is a business citation for itself because it has this name, this address, and this phone number. So every page that mentions this is a business citation. So let me check if there's any inconsistencies with that. So I'll use this tool called Moz Local. And it checks for everyone else's Google local presence. Oh my God, did they stop making it free? Because it used to be free. Moz Local. Oh, they just changed the form. Oh, man. Used to be that I could just like put that in. You just go right in. This is new. So this is checking where you're at on a lot of different sites. You're not showing up from most. Some are just wrong, right? Like for example, this is a different name than what you're currently using. So it's like if someone calls you by a different name, people won't really know what's the real name, and then it confuses them. You're not in Bing, not in Foursquare, not in Hot Frog, not in US Info, not in Show Me Local, not in NavMe. These are like the 10 largest sources for this sort of stuff. Right, consumers like that, and there's hundreds. The goal is to do like 200 of these, and it's all data entry, and it's all boring. But you can hire someone, or we can hire someone. I have folks for that. Web design is the site mobile friendly. So if I inspect the page and I go over to where I can kind of select, oh, okay, this is an iPhone. This is how I'd see the website on an iPhone, I can see, okay, well, this is how I would see it on an iPhone. Does that look mobile secure? Okay, well, you get a little slider. Okay, see some text. Okay, scroll down. You get a little PDF or a little like, I can't read that, but everything else seems to be okay. Let me, that seems to be like okay. Just attention to detail. That's why people work with me. Breadcrumbs. The further down the site you go, you want to be able to navigate back to pages. There's not a lot of structure to the website. It's just the root, the main domain, the main URL slash the rest of the service, the rest of the pages. Right? You can, the further down the website you go, slash services slash acupuncture slash what kind of acupuncture? What is acupuncture used for? Digestion. People could like go down and say, okay, well, here's the using acupuncture. If that's what we want to optimize the page for, right? If that's what the data says, we break in. But if they're on this page, they could find this up here in all the pages that they had to click through in order to get to that, and they can quickly click on that. They can find the higher category. Sorry, I'm running out of steam. I'm a SEO. I'm pretty introverted, not one to talk a lot. Page speed, just make sure the site runs fast. If the site's over optimized. Anyway, long story short, you're not getting, where you're at right now is not getting traffic. And if you want a certain amount of new patients calling in or a certain number of patients just setting appointments, that would be the next step on where we can go from there. Because I don't know how many new patients you can take in, if there's any sort of specifics within or any sort of ideal sorts of patients you like to work with. But really, that would be the next thing for us. And that would just look like a 30, 45-minute call for us to sort of understand, okay, well, what sort of people do you want to work with and how many can you take on? That's really it. We can go through the audit. Usually what I like to do is just flesh this all out, go through every single bit, right, of issues on the site and bring that to you for you to solve or for us to solve, right, within the space. Anyway, I hope you got some value from this. Reach out, let me know what you think, and I'll be looking forward to hearing back from you. All right, thanks a lot, Shane.